Chris, solid 37% revenue growth. You got gross margin of 87%, but it seems to be this growth in active members, 23%, that just failed to meet the bar for some. What do you make of it?
Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I'm so proud to be reporting on an awesome Q1 that we've had, our Q2 in our first quarter as a public company, and being on the show to share more. We had a great quarter. We, like you said, we beat consensus on the top line. We grew 37%. We saw outsized results exceeding expectation across the board on growth on the revenue side, active member growth, and our success on adjusted EBITDA. And we raised our expectations for the year as well on the call. As it relates to the active member growth, it was a great quarter for us. I think naturally, as a new company, new issuance, I think investors are just starting to understand the nuances of our business a bit. And we do have a seasonal business. So on a quarter-to-quarter basis, sequentially, the growth for people that maybe don't understand the seasonality of the business might have been disappointing. But the way that you really need to look at the business is how we're growing on a year-over-year basis. So in Q1, we grew actives 23%. In Q2, again, we grew actives 23% year over year, accelerating that rate. So we actually had an outstanding quarter, and I think it's just natural now that we need to make sure that we educate investors on some of these details of the business, such as the seasonal elements of it.
And maybe investors were looking to competitors in this space, not direct competitors, but certainly in the fintech space. SoFi just had such strength. Do you think perhaps it was what others are doing in the market, and how can you show that you're winning as much and building as much?
Well, I think we have a different business model than a lot of the other fintechs out there, in that we're really focused on serving everyday consumers and banking them in a primary account capacity. In other words, people signing up for Chime and using us as their primary direct deposit account. And we're really at the end of the day, a payments-driven business, not a lending business. And I think that's a real differentiation that's important for investors to understand about the core of our business model. Credit and lending is sort of a mid-teens percentage of our revenue. We're predominantly a payments-driven business, which I think is quite a bit different. And we love these relationships because it allows us to develop long-term partnerships with our members and help them in the areas that matter most, around avoiding fees, around building credit, giving some short-term liquidity around the edges, but also just helping them get into a healthy rhythm of savings and moving their financial progress ahead.
And many of them want to do that far more efficiently using generative AI. That's something you've been interweaving. You've got the voice bot, for example, Chris. Where more can you lean into that?
We're so excited about the opportunity in AI. And I just think, what an exciting time to run a technology company. We feel like we're just in the early stages of a new industrial revolution. If you think about, the original industrial revolution, it was all about new sources of energy that created and unlocked so many new opportunities, new industries, and so forth. I kind of think of LLMs as the same sort of new form of energy that, sure, the LLM companies are incredible, amazing businesses. We're all using them every day. But the opportunities for companies like Chime to leverage AI and move it into the product experience, the operations, is just enormous. We're already serving over 70% of our customer interactions with generative AI.
Right.
And not only is the cost saving exciting, but the actual outcomes are even more exciting because we're seeing a significant increase in the satisfaction levels of consumers getting the answers they want quickly through an AI. Of course, you can always talk to a live customer service rep, but we're really excited about the opportunities, not just on the service side, but even using AI as think of it like a digital partner that's kind of helping you, manage your day-to-day financial life.